guys, welcome to the spoiler section for John Wick Chapter 4. My God, there is just so much action here. I can't even, they all run together. I can't even remember the sequence of events. Can somebody help me?
As soon as it starts, we get that chase scene in the desert.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Horseback.
So why is he in the desert?
Because
that was set up
out.
in Chapter 3, the desert stuff.
Yeah, because he has to go claim his ring, right? The ring the guy has.
He shoots one of the big head honchos.
Mm-hmm. He's like, well, I don't have your ring anymore.
Yeah, he's out there to execute one of the people on the table because they have his finger in his wedding ring, and he didn't. He's like, there's no point in killing me. And he's like, cool.
The elder. Bam. I'll kill you anyway. Now, I wanted to say this in the review. Do you feel like Keanu's like putting on a voice for John Wick? Some of the line delivery, it just feels off.
It just sounds like Ted to me.
It just,
yeah, it's Ted.
Yeah, but it's almost like he's doing it on purpose now.
Yeah.
And I just, it's like, is that his acting ability? His acting has always been like that? No, I think he's all right, anyway. So then what happens? The New York Continental gets rolled up on by these guys with these marquee pins. And they say, there's your fucking timer because you had all that mess happen with John Wick.
And you helped him.
You're fucked. And he was like, but I shot him. And they're like, I don't care.
He's still alive.
You have an hour. And this whole fucking place blows up. They have this scene where the sand is dropping. I thought they were going to, kill him and shoot him if he didn't come to an agreement when they were trying to do that. And then that's where they set up the bad guy. What's the bad guy's name? De Gramont. He's from Paris, French guy. So, yeah, and then this is where Lance Reddick's character, the concierge, they say, well, now since your hotel is blown up, time's up. And he shoots Lance Reddick, and he's like super surprised, the fucking concierge.
So was I. He's like,
no, I actually let it out. I was like, no. And
sad.
I don't know. Obviously, they made this decision a long time ago. They wanted to up the stakes. They wanted to show you that this bad guy's a really bad guy. And they leave alive, though, the manager, Winston. And they say, yeah, why didn't you kill Winston? He's like, well, the people you leave alive, they're either cowards or turncoats. And, it's basically taking away all his power. And Winston, they try to make Winston a smart ass and, an intelligent person. So he's going to come up with a plan to get all of his stuff back. And I think he needs help from John. But here's one thing that I'm like, man, John, that's kind of shitty. You know what's coming. And when you associate yourself with people, you're going to fuck their lives. But yet he just goes to Osaka, the Osaka Continental. And what does he go there? I would understand if he got shot and he needed medical attention and he has no choice, but he just goes there for tea or something. Why is he there?
But I do give him
He's
that,
taking
though,
refuge. You give him that?
I don't think that he knows the high table's after him.
He just murdered someone the very previous, because in the desert, he murdered someone at
the elder.
Yeah, so it's
he
like
knows the high table's after
that.
him?
Yeah, killing that guy.
Yeah, the high table. So I was like, please explain this by the end of the film. And it's never explained.
He needed a place to lay low because he just murdered a person at the table, and so
So why not go underground with Lawrence Fishburne's character? Because here in this, he really doesn't have much to do. Lawrence Fishburne, the whole I'm raising a hobo army is not really a factor here.
We wouldn't have a movie.
Yeah, I think they don't.
No, we would have a movie. They would go with Lawrence Fishburne and hide there, and they wouldn't fuck up Osaka. But they wanted to do the Japanese angle, right? And
the bow and arrows.
The bow and arrows. I like the bow and arrows. I know you're making fun of the bow and arrows in the car, but I'm like, this is a assassin world, so they're gonna use samurai swords and bow and arrows. And in the bow and arrow defense, they were penetrating some of the fucking armor the motherfuckers were wearing.
Blocked.
Yeah.
Right, one guy blocks it.
Danny Yen has a passing comment. They're like, hey, he just murdered someone at the high table. And Danny Yen says, like, look, if he's laying low, there's like 3 people that he trusts. Okay. And Lawrence Fishburne was an actual enemy of his in like the first 2 movies. And so he's not.
So that's why he's referring to, he says friends, but not friends that he trusts with his life.
And then so there's like 2 people, right? And then the manager of the other Continental's probably one of them, hand waving. That's why he's there.
I was hoping that we would see a flashback scene or some context to why this guy in Osaka, Akira, I think, to kill John.
That's his
Yeah,
daughter.
Akira Koji. Then it's either Koji or Akira. I'm gonna look it up. Since we're going technical. Koji, yeah. So Koji helps him, and it's like, why are you fucking helping him? He doesn't have a marker on you. You don't need to do this. And it's like, that's how far you've fallen. You know, I help my friends. And there's a great line in there about friendship. It's like, what did he say specifically? He said,
friendship doesn't matter when it's convenient.
Yeah, when it's convenient, it doesn't matter. You know, so he knows it's gonna fuck up him, his group, his Continental, and it does. So they show up and they're like, all right, well, you're harboring him. We're doing this, and then he turns the lights out. That's when the bow and arrows happen. Get our first big action scene in green light, low light, and just extremely well done. And from that fucking point, when that lights go off, it never fucking stops. It's nonstop from that point. Because as soon as we get the fucking I have the high ground scene in The Rock. That was the whole movie in The Rock, right? That's the biggest scene there. That's just the opening act. That's the appetizer in this film. So that concludes. They hired Donnie Yen before this by entrapping his daughter and say, we're going to kill your daughter if you don't kill John. And he's like, oh, we were friends. Fuck. If it's between my daughter and John, I'm going to kill John. And so then this Donnie Yen's character shows up, but he is content to eat his noodles and let the table lose a ton of guys because he kind of hates the table too. He's like, you're fucking me over, so I'm going to fuck you over. And the guy's like, get in there, do your job. We're losing tons of men to these Japanese swords and the fucking sumo wrestlers, which I guess their fucking outfits are also bulletproof.
Kevlar kimonos.
Because these guys couldn't move very fast.
Powerful.
Yeah, but it was cool. And then, so he finally goes in there. And that's when we see him in action. And you're like, well, he's blind, so how is he going to do the gunplay? And in this scene, he actually uses these little things, and you're like, oh shit, he's putting bombs everywhere or something? What is this? And then you realize they're doorbells. So when you walk past him, ding dong, and then boof, boof. And I was like, okay, that kind of explains that. They dropped that idea later. He doesn't use them again. Yeah. So now he's just got fucking geolocation like Daredevil.
Yeah.
Okay.
This scene didn't bother me quite so much yet, but it just continues to go on. It's just like, all right, now we've just got rid of all this stuff. He's completely... He threw a flashbang in one scene, which would... that dude's right in front of him. It's like, so not only is he blind and deaf, but everyone else in the room is blind and deaf, and he just starts shooting people with pinpoint accuracy. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah, and that scene continues, and and then John. At one point, the daughter is very upset with John. She has every right to be upset with John because she's like, "Why are you here? You're gonna get us all killed. You're gonna get my dad killed," and she's right. But when shit goes down, so a guy comes up to her. The hotel's under attack. She equips herself. She gets some badass scenes with bow and arrows and swordplay, and they kick everybody's ass. Unfortunately, she's not John Wick. She's not the Baba Yaga. So during the gunfight, she takes a bullet to the gut. And so her father shows up to help her, and her father says, Koji says to John Wick, says, hey, kill as many of them as possible. And then another fucking badass song, and then another fucking badass scene where there's, I don't know, these lights, square lights that you've seen in the trailer, and then he's just constantly shooting these armored suit guys, and then the black BMX armored suit guys using a combination of pistols, Jiu-jitsu, yeah, like spinning moves and shit, and arm bars and things, and then also the M4 rifles, and then also he at one point gets nunchucks.
At one point, there's like a 30-minute long
damn,
nunchuck
this
fight scene.
motherfucker, Keanu trained with nunchucks now. Jesus Christ, this man is dedicated, and I was fucking there for it. Bars. And it's just, it was fucking great. Yeah. Now, okay, so then, how does that fight scene, so eventually, Donnie Yen shows up and starts fighting with John Wick. He's like, hey, I'm sorry, family, referring to they got your families, yeah, family. And then, boom, they go at it like you see from the trailer. And Donnie's on his level. And honestly, if Donnie wasn't blind, Donnie might be better than John Wick. But John Wick is not blind, so at times he's able to stop and then kind of hold himself and not make a noise. Though when that happens with other people, Donnie will kill them. And then he's accident. He's like, John, are you dead? And he doesn't say anything.
Marco.
She said yes. Well, my job's done. He said yes.
He said yes. No, but he cracks some glass with his back, and they begin fighting again.
Yeah.
But eventually, how does he get away from Donnie at this point?
Eventually, Donnie Yen pins him down, and then Mr. Nobody shoots.
Oh, that's right. So we have a new character.
But I don't know why he shot.
John, here's why he did that, Joe. We have a new character called Mr. Nobody.
Tracker is what they're calling him.
He's a tracker, and he has this book, and he's been monitoring how much money you get for John Wick, and it's been going up and up and up. He has a target goal. He wants to get $50 million, right? And right now, John is only at, I don't know, $15 million.
He started at 18.
Yeah, 18 million. I'm like, damn, man, what the fuck? These people got money? Why isn't it already 50? That's pretty low for John. And throughout the film, they raised the money. I'm like, put more on John. John, put some respect on this man's name. But this guy wants the money to go up and up. And so occasionally he'll turn and he'll shoot the guys that are attacking John so that John survives.
Which is why I was like, I'm not sure why he didn't shoot Donnie Yen, because he wants to kill John.
Yes. So he had the opportunity to kill Donnie here, you're saying, and he doesn't do it.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Either at that point he couldn't possibly know that was maybe the high table assassin, or maybe he does know because that motherfucker is going up against John Wick one-on-one. And if he kills the high table assassin, then he's probably not going to be able to go and up the money, which he does later on in
Literally
the film.
everyone there to kill John is a high table assassin. He could have just killed all of them and been like,
low level guys. But
I get the reason, but I'm just saying, like, why not?
Yeah, there's ways that you can present that
At
situation.
least, like, shoot him in the shoulder. It's like, all right, you grazed me or something.
Yeah, something.
So that's how John is able to get away from this fight. We don't solve the Donnie Yen problem yet. Instead, we cut away to the daughter and Koji leading his daughter away, and then fucking Donnie Yen's character teleports over there and has a scene with him. He doesn't want to fight with him. They respect each other, but he has to because Koji is like, he's a protect your daughter. He's like, I am, because I got to kill you. I got to take you out. And if I take you out, Caine is his name, then this is over and we can handle all of the other bullshit that you throw at us. So they fight, and unfortunately, he was already shot. They noticed that he had taken a shot too, so he was not on the level of Caine, and he is killed. It's a sad moment, and then his daughter's like, oh, and she tries to pick up the sword. He's like, choose life. And Donnie's character's so badass. It's like, you're not going to be able to win. But later on, so what's weird to me is, while I'll excuse all of what you guys were saying, no, that's too much. One thing I couldn't excuse was when she's walking away, she's like, oh, and she leaves. And John is also walking away, and he's and he leaves. Well, he goes into a subway, and he goes into the subway, and it's empty. And I'm like, oh, another action scene because it's empty and what? But no, it's not. Instead, she shows up in the same exact car. I'm like, come on, babe, there's no way.
That's your come on moment.
That's my come on moment for the entire film. It's because I was ready to excuse anything.
Donnie Yen shoots like 100 people. He is blind. He can't see shit.
Hey, what I'm saying is Donnie Yen is like a T-Rex or Daredevil. If you make any fucking sound, he's going to know exactly where you're at. And these assassins
does he not shoot?
Obviously, somebody could just go. I thought somebody would maybe take their shoes off in the film just to give themselves a little bit of an advantage. But no, I think what they are, right. I think what they were is, no, we're all like, this is how we do it. We do it close combat. And I'm going to test my skills against your skills. And you fucked up. There's nobody that smart in this universe.
How many innocent people do you think Donnie Yen killed?
Oh, hundreds.
They're just in the background.
He's shooting people on the streets of Paris. John Wick is like, hey, take 9 o'clock. And he turns over and he just shoots all these people walking in the street. Some old
They
lady.
did not do that in the film, but it would have been
I'm
funny.
just saying, like, that's
Lean
come on.
into it.
You're blind as Joe. That's bullshit.
No.
The blind can be assassins. Anyways, so then they meet in the subway, and she goes, either you kill him or I'm going to kill him. You know, basically, I don't care that he's your friend. I don't care what y'all been through in the past. You know, this guy's a threat. By the way, where the fuck is Common? I guess they couldn't get his contract, or maybe something happened in behind the scenes.
They're
maybe
square.
Because
They're square.
I know, but like you would think that they would bring him back, but I guess
He don't
no,
wanna get in
he's just
trouble.
not. But they tried to set him up as an equal, and then he never.
He was in
never
2,
shows up
right?
again.
But so we missed him in 3 as well.
Yeah, he hasn't been back since. I think it's contract thing or behind the scenes stuff. But anyways, because it seems like maybe that could have been the tracker's role or something. Could have been Common, but they wanted somebody new. They wanted something with the dog, and they got the dog, the tracker, Mr. Nobody, a bounty hunter, probably the smart bounty hunter. Now what? So after we have that scene, John
subway
is
scene?
able to take a little bit of a rest and try to figure out how he's going to get out now that his friend New York is taken out, Japan is taken out. But how does he learn? He talks.
Lawrence Fishburne has a conversation with a manager in New York City. The manager's looking at the Continental that's smoldering and smoking, and Lawrence Fishburne is just like, "Hey, fuck you!" And the manager's like, "Hey,
Now we're both
I need
homeless.
to get a message to John." He's like, "Why would he talk to you? You put 3 bullets in him the last time that you saw him." And he's like, "Look, we got a common enemy type situation." And John immediately forgives him, I guess. And
The Bowery King, the underground crime boss. So then they figure out that here's how you can do it. How this whole thing can end. You can issue this marquee head assassin guy a challenge. But because you're excommunicado and your ticket has been ripped, you need to have a supporting family who is in the thing and a second. I'll be your second, Winston, but you need to get your family to do the thing. So then he goes to Russia. Berlin. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right, because the fat suit guy is here.
Yes.
So he goes to Berlin, he goes to his family, and they string him up.
Yeah, they're going to kill him.
Go ahead. Take it.
Yeah, so he's there to talk to Uncle Peter, and they're like, look, Uncle Peter's fucking dead. Why would we help you at all? You're a piece of shit. You killing the other guy at the high table meant that this marquee, that someone else immediately put a bullet in our family head. So I'm going to have you killed. And then he's like, and then he explains, I can help you. I can kill the guy
that killed your father.
Our father. And then they're like, okay, you do that, you bring proof, you're back in.
Mm-hmm. So then that's when he goes to the fat suit guy, which it is Scott Adkins. Yeah, fucking I was like, is that Scott Adkins? As Killer, the head of the German I could tell because he's in a fat suit. I'm like, who is that? Who has martial arts skills? And I thought it looked like Scott. So you got this flamboyant fucking gold-toothed fat guy who's very confident in his abilities.
He's like a new penguin.
The new penguin. Yeah, I was like, oh shit, is that my fucking Colin Farrell up in there? No, it's Scott Adkins. And so they have this scene that you guys hated. Why don't you take it?
Yeah, he's in the private vault of this big club, and he's tied up. The room is filled with dudes with guns. Everyone in this room wants to kill John Wick. They have him, and then Donnie Yen is there, and Donnie Yen wants to kill John Wick, and then they catch Tracker. I think they're calling him Tracker on IMDb. Is that what or Mr. Nobody? They find him outside, and they bring him in. It's like, look, everyone in this room wants to kill John Wick. John Wick wants to kill me. We'll play a game to see what happens. And it's like, what do you mean?
We're going to play cards.
And then John Wick, they play.
It's that whole, I'm a badass, you're a badass, and we're being badass, and then I'm going to kill you in a badass way.
Yeah.
But you're like, no, he could have just been like, all right.
Well, so what ends up happening, all of these dudes with guns are sitting there, and John Wick that loses because the guy cheats. John Wick grabs a playing card and scratches his throat with it and, throws a card at a dude, but I think it kills him. And then all of the other dudes with guns forget what they're there for, and none of them shoot any of the good guys, and then they all make it out.
Well,
and
they do.
high-five.
But the thing is, in the John Wick universe, apparently you can only shoot somebody from 20 yards away. So I see it every time. Here's what happens. They run up, and then they pull, they make a big thing about pulling their gun. No, they don't do that. Yeah. That's the expert. They go like this, and then they get shot because they're going to shoot you.
He got shot in the ass.
Yeah.
So then big fight scene in the club.
The fight scene in the club was actually pretty cool because
Yeah.
there's a bunch of like dudes with axes for some reason in Japan.
Axe gang.
Yeah, I was actually very much thinking of the
Remember
axe,
the axe
the
gang.
hatchet gang. It was just like, oh, okay. And then they have like
Fu hustle.
a bunch of axe fights. And Scott
And the fat
Adkins,
guy can actually fight.
he really, really well. I mean, this was dumb ridiculous that I liked.
Yeah.
Like where it's just like.
Well, now you like it, but before you say you didn't like it.
No, the fact that he can fight is great.
Yeah.
The scene where none of them shoot him and they've got him captured and he's guarded by 45 Austin Powers inept guards. That part I don't like.
If we're
The
gonna have a
part,
fight scene, it's cool.
but when you actually have a one-on-one fight and it turns out like Tubby Lumpkins can like do spinning roundhouse kicks, I'm like I'm into this
Like,
shit.
oh,
Like
shit.
yeah, it's like oh
Surprise.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, so then beats him up and they fight. He falls. I feel like a story. John Wick is dead. Motherfucker cannot something is cracked, something is broken. Never fucking happens. Apparently, these suits not only are bulletproof, but also a bone retention protection or something.
yeah, they're impact proof. It's totally
Impact
it's
proof.
science. It's been proven.
But the fat guy is not wearing impact proof because John punches him and the guy falls as he gets hit in the back or something, and then we
Falls
see him
on the stairs,
slamming.
He falls like 2 stories and lands
boy.
directly on his neck,
Yeah.
and
Snaps that shit. Yeah. Also, this is classic John Wick. As he's shooting these henchmen and guards, I like that he makes sure to fucking put one in the head. Even when they're already down, even when they're already out, you just got to be sure. So he does that several times, and because as the script doctor, I'm like, man, the motherfucker's gonna get up later. Oh, okay, well, now not getting up no more.
everyone
So
is
he
dead.
gets it. He takes care of
As soon
him.
as he's dead, everyone
Complete.
runs out the club.
Yeah.
Like, only then.
Yeah, all the other gunshots.
It is a
murdering.
little. Hey! The director's like, I need this cool part. Everybody, keep dancing. Keep dancing. The music's so loud you don't hear it.
The thing is, like, you didn't need the
I
the
needed the
dancers
background. I
because it was
needed
still
the
badass. Like
they're all on
having
drugs, and a
fights.
few of them. I was
the
paying attention. A few
waterfall,
of them
the
are
lights.
reacting, but a few aren't. I think they're just used to this shit because it's this assassin world, and this fat guy with the fucking gold teeth probably has assassins come after him, and he fights them and shit. Anyways, rips his teeth out. And, oh, by the way, when we're at the table, he's like, your family sold you out, try to do this fake out thing. And, there are dirty people. And he's like just really insulting him and his family and stuff. And you think, well, oh, shit, is John going to have to go after the family? No, it was all bullshit. He gets the fucking thing, gives it to the family. And she's like, all right, I will punch your ticket or I'll give you the thing that you need to do it.
Do Beverly Hills Ninja, the pot of molten things where you gotta like brand.
Yeah, and so now they're linked. I mean, if oaths mean anything, if there's ever a future John Wick, you got to include them in some way, right? Because they'll show up and help John, though they never show up and help John. So they take this huge oath that means nothing to them because they never help him after that. They do give him the ticket.
They
that
give him
he
the
needs
ticket.
to
That's
get-
all they
to
said.
get in.
They didn't say
And then
anything
maybe
else.
once now he's free, then they can provide support because he's still under obligation to get this thing done. So finally.
Is it finally?
No, there's way more. Way more.
It's not finally.
His adoptive sister, Katya, agrees after he kills Killa, a German high table senior who murdered her father. And then they do the branding, and then they formally request the duel in a funny scene where Winston, it's so opulent, it's so large. All these paintings, are these paintings really that large? Or are these just copies that are blown up to super?
No,
it's
they're
like
large,
these are fucking impressive paintings. And motherfuckers walking and walking, and he's walking. And he's walking. I just started laughing because, this guy is in a life of luxury. He just has money out the wazoo. And then he gives him the formal challenge. And he's like, the old ways? And damn, fuck. He got a challenge. And he's like, hey, man, he gets him on his rules. It's like, if you follow the rules, then you're going to follow the rules. He requests a duel on behalf of the family. And then he seconds it himself. And on the condition that he gets his New York office or New York Continental back and everything repaired at their expense. And then he's like very satisfied. He's like, all right, leave. And he's like, no, first I need these things. Now I will leave. So Winston gets, but as Winston's walking away, motherfucker says, you know you're dead, right? Because you second him, and if he loses, you lose as well.
Yeah.
So, next, one of y'all.
Then they're in Paris, and
Paris.
John shows up, and he's preparing for the duel. They meet with our man Clancy.
Yes, we got Clancy. I love this man's voice. No,
Krabs.
he's not doing motherfucking gun kata in this one. He's called the Harbinger, which is the table's emissary. And so then they're playing this little fucking magic game. I reveal. Are they playing Yu-Gi-Oh? White Eyes Dragon? No.
It's like, my number's higher than yours. All right.
Mine is 19.
Point goes to John. Point goes over
No,
here.
they're picking weapons, they're picking locations, and they're picking times. Okay? And at the very end, the motherfucker, de Gramont, says, Caine's going to do it for me. Because I was like, oh, okay, this guy's got nice suits. He's ordering. Is he going to get into the mix, right? Is he going to be the final boss? Nah, he's a bitch. And he gets a motherfucker to do it take his place. Caine's like, what? He's like, I ain't doing it. He's like, shut up, Caine, you're doing it. He's like, all right.
So we have your daughter.
You have your daughter. So the duel is going to take place following sunrise. But then the action is not over yet because he ain't going to make it to sunrise. They call everybody and their mother, everyone, to fight John Wick. And John Wick fights everyone on the way.
I think at this point I would have gotten disguised if I was John Wick. Just like an old lady.
They never disguise. There's never any snipers. They don't. Everybody knows where John is going, but they never fucking stop and wait for him. Put sandbags, and then when he opens the door to that one house that he goes into, and we get that badass scene, he opens the door, heavy machine gun, bump, bump, bump. You know, that's gonna go right through his suit. But we'd have no fucking movie. We'd have no badass scene.
I don't have a problem with it. It's dumb, but I don't have a problem with this part.
And then he's fighting everybody on the streets.
This is where we've seen the trailers.
cars.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And it's cool stuff. Yeah, some of the cars look a little fakey, and when you're flying 15 feet in the air, and John's still shooting you on the way down, it's great.
You get hit by a car getting shot while you're in the air. Stop it! I get it.
You know, and then the nobody is there, following John, making sure that that guy might get him, and so he's helping him out a little bit. While also calling and trying to get the money up. He's like, do you want me? I need $25 million, this and that. There was a scene with Mr. Nobody. He actually meets the Gramonts. I don't know if this is before or after, but he asks for even more money. And, he's real cocky, and he stabs him. And he's like, you got to prove how much you want this, how dedicated you are. So he has to pull his hand out instead of the knife out. That proves to this villain that he will do his obligation to kill him. And he's like, all right, I'll pay you money. But motherfucker, at several points, the Gramont changes the fucking deal on him. So Mr. Nobody's like, I don't like this motherfucker. Also, Mr. Nobody is constantly calling his dog on people. And it's great to see a dog in the John Wick franchise get some love and attention in a different way. Is it realistic? No. Motherfuckers would have shot the dog a long time ago. And if they're wearing all these bulletproof, impact-proof vests, and they would have just thrown the dog. At one point, the dog does get thrown. The second in command of the villain manages to throw the dog and hurt the dog.
Gets hit by a car, too.
Yeah, gets hit by a car. And then later on, when we get to that building where we have the badass dragon fire bullets and the overhead cameras, so very creative cinematography. The John Wick people showing you that, yeah, we're the John Wick people. We have this reputation. Now we have all these other projects we're doing, but we earned it. And now we're going to top it. And I thought that they topped it here. It was well done. Reminds me of the moment in Matrix where you're just blown away by the fucking hallway scene, the bank scene. And this is something similar. Now, nothing's ever going to really top like that. The initial time in Matrix. I saw the Matrix 7 fucking times because I kept taking new people that are like, Matrix? Nah, I'm not. No, come, and they're like, wow. So, but this has a similar effect, and it was really, really cool. So, Now, while he's in that building killing people and killing all these damn assassins that are trying to get him for money, and also the marquee assassins, Mr. Nobody then also fights John Wick, and they're shooting at each other. But at one point, the second in command gets the upper hand on the dog. And John and Nobody is fighting, and John gets the upper hand on Nobody. But in this moment, John looks over and he sees in the other room that the dog is losing. And instead of taking out Mr. Nobody, he stops the guy from killing the dog. And this shocks Mr. Nobody, and he's
like, John's a good guy after all.
Well,
Mr. Nobody had the opportunity to
Then he
kill
has to
John
change
like
the heart.
10 times in the like in the streets,
Oh, yeah.
over and over and over. But
and he does let him go.
He lets
and
him
he
go.
lets him know he's letting him go.
and constantly, because he's like, it's not 18's not enough. It gets up to like 30 million publicly.
35?
Well, so he demands 35 on the phone, but like every time he raises it,
It goes out to everybody
it
else.
goes out to everyone else. So he doesn't even need a special deal. He could have just put a bullet in him at literally any time and dragged his corpse in and go, I win.
Yeah,
and
but he's shooting other people because he don't want them to claim the 40
Yeah, because
million.
once he says 40, he's like, all right, 40. And then
Everyone-
the lady he puts in, all right, it's 40 million.
Right,
for
he
John.
could have done it before she put it in.
He
is
didn't
what
have
you're
to
saying?
cut his hand.
he didn't have to do any of the thing. The problem is like they do weird things with Mr. Nobody, and it's kind of silly because he's like, I don't want 25 million, I want 30 million. It's like, you agreed to 23 million earlier in the movie. Just fucking shoot his ass or shut up. Just fucking shut up.
Shut up.
You agreed to 23 and now you want 40. Just shoot his ass. John Wick can beat your ass.
Yeah.
He won. Just shoot him.
So he's fighting off hordes of assassins, including Mr. Nobody. The stakes are really fucking high. But eventually, who's Chidi? Chidi nearly kills John, but Mr. Nobody kills him first. Chidi. I guess the second in command guy?
Yeah.
Does the second in command guy almost kill him?
That's later on. We still need to get
Oh, yeah.
we got to start.
Tell us, Joe. I need
All
to
right,
find
so
where
after
we're
that's
at.
done, he's on the bottom of the stairs. He has to get all the way to the top.
222?
222 steps.
222,
So he goes up
yeah.
there. He's like, looking at a watch. He's like, all right, I got a couple minutes to go up there.
Yeah.
And this is where we see in the trailer. He's going up the stairs, shooting like 20 people, 30 people, goes all the way up top.
Yeah.
Fighting everyone. He finally gets to the very top.
I would have been
Then-
tired just walking those stairs with nobody fighting.
Yeah. So we finally get to the top, and there's the henchman
There's
right there.
the cheaty guy, and
He kicks him.
Okay, this is the other time in the film that I got knocked out. I'm like, what are you doing, John? He's literally tumbling, and you can see him continuing to tumble, and so that he can make it all the way down the stairs.
All the
The guy,
way
that's a little
down.
excessive.
All
You don't need to
the
go all
way.
the way down. You could just stop at one point. But he does stop at one point, but Chitty's there, and then he kicks him the rest of the way, right? I think
Yeah.
it's 2 kicks.
Yeah, so he goes all the way back down to the bottom, and then that's when we get Donnie Yen.
Caine says, I can't stand this. I need you up there. 'Cause he wants to get some revenge.
It's like, how much time do we got?
Yeah.
It's like
3
a couple
minutes.
of minutes.
We got 3
Well, 'cause
minutes.
if
So
John
then
does-
they go together, and then this is where you guys are like, nope! The blind man goes,
Going up the stairs.
and then motherfucker's eating breakfast in his apartment window.
Donnie Yen with a sword and a
People
pistol.
are drinking, from cups, and they explode.
He's killing everyone within a 100-meter radius. He's running upstairs blind. Again, he's blind, and he's also sword fighting and shooting people.
I know. I'm
in
just
all
explaining
directions.
that if he hears a gunshot, he knows where it is, like Daredevil, and he'll fire back in that direction. As far as swords and attacks go, he can hear them before
Yeah.
coming and punching.
Yeah, but it's just that's the
But
part
it
where
does
it's kind of
get- yeah.
it's kind of silly. It's just there's also been set up that Donnie Yen, who is blind, has to duel John Wick at dawn with pistols, and I thought it'd be cool if they do like swords. And originally the guy wanted blades,
I wanted to see.
and like that would have been really cool.
That
but
would have been.
He was trying to pick blades, but
Yeah.
swords
John
were
won,
higher. It was like a number 29 to number 15.
yeah.
Anyways, so he aids him up there, and but the second in command almost kills John, but then that's when Mr. Nobody shows up and shoots him first as a thank you for saving his dog. Then Mr. Nobody kind of just takes a relax on a bench.
The dog pisses on his face.
Yeah, we can't forget that. The dog gets revenge. Pisses. Oh, the dog actually shows up and growling, and because he was going to pick up the gun,
Yeah.
and the dog
He hears nuts. The
Rats
tracker
and
yells
nuts.
nuts, and then he just rips into his nuts.
They do a good job of showing that his entire 260-pound body of muscle is being dragged by his nuts being ripped off, essentially. So
And then the tracker shoots him in the fucking forehead with the lever action, which I loved, by the way.
the lever action is really
so
cool. Yeah.
I wish that his fights were a little bit better. Like, he had kind of like a stupid
He's
get
not a
up.
brawler like John is.
Yeah, but I give him a cool suit or something. It's like, look, if you're part of this world, you can afford a cool suit. You could have taken a cool suit off a dead guy's body. You're wearing a dumb backpack that flips over that has like.
I
cool
hear what
scene.
you're
That was a
saying,
little
but
cool
I
scene.
like
did-
his gear being different. I want everybody to. I don't want everybody to look the same.
I enjoyed it.
I
It was
like
a
his own thing.
Nice
You like
little
his own
scene.
thing?
Yeah.
So finally, we get to the fucking top. Whereas the Harbinger's like he's not gonna make it, he does make it. And so then Mr. Nobody sits down. The Gramon is all kind of pissed off because he's making it. And so then Donnie Yen, as they're approaching though, Donnie's like, he fucking cuts his goddamn hand. I'm like, Donnie, you didn't need to do that because that's dishonorable. Don't know why they put that in there, and it never really factors into the fight. Actually,
No, because he's still shooting fine.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna
Maybe
like
he's getting him
hinder
back
him or
for
something.
He said now we're even once he stabbed him in the hand.
yeah, maybe he's getting him back for something. John punched him and did something to him. Anyways, so they duel with pistols, and they say, okay, 30 paces. So I started counting their footsteps, and it was only 20. Is that? I thought paces were footsteps, but I guess
It's
no.
metric. It's different
Metric
for us.
system.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
it.
yeah,
So
different
I
paces.
literally counted their footsteps, but they didn't go the full 30 footsteps. Anyway, so they make it 30 paces, and they turn around, and then I thought they already had bullets, but no, they show up. They have an assistant and put the bullet in there, and boom, they fire. They nick each other in the shoulders. As soon as I heard the rules of the game, where it's like if you don't kill each other, you
Closer,
get
closer,
closer and you do it
closer.
again. I'm like, they're gonna do that 3 times, and they do that 3 times. So they get closer, they shoot each other again. This time, John scores instead of an even hit. John gets Caine a little bit better
Gut shot,
in
yeah.
the gut, while John takes one in the what is muscle? Is this trap?
Trap.
Yeah, trap muscle, and then they get even closer, and. You know, do they have words? Because they have. What did they say?
Those who cling to death value life, and those who value life something.
Yeah.
like
in
die
verse.
or something.
Yeah.
So then he shoots, and I thought, honestly, I wasn't paying attention either. I thought they both shot again. 2 shots
I
ring
heard
out.
one.
Yeah,
I
I
was
heard
like,
one.
I know
You
what's
heard
gonna
one?
happen. Yeah,
I didn't hear
I
one.
knew it
wasn't
was
paying-
gonna happen.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the shots ring out, or shot rings out, and John falls over, hit bad, but Donnie is standing, and he is not hit. And this is when de Gramont is like, because previously Winston got it in his head, you can be the marquis that that solidifies the table's power and takes out Baba Yaga and be the hero. And so here's where he jumps in. He gets up. Okay, now that he's on the ground, I'm going to take over. And Donnie's like, is my daughter safe and I'm free? And he's like, yeah, you're good. And he's like, okay. So he gives him the gun, and then he's like, I told you, John, you're gonna die or whatever. And then John shoots him.
Well, Winston's
But
like,
wait,
Winston goes,
you forgot.
"Ahem."
Oh, yeah.
You forgot. Yeah, he's like, actually,
You arrogant piece of shit.
you pay attention to me because I'm going to distract you. John didn't shoot. What? Pop.
Boop. Pay attention to me. So he helps him out.
Yes.
And he gets shot in the forehead, and the motherfucker dies.
Yep.
But John is fucked up. And the Harbinger comes out, and he's like, all right, you are free. You're free of your debt to the high table. Winston, you get your hotel back. You're free as well.
Happy ending.
And then John comes to the steps, and he's really fucking, hurt, and he kind of lies down on the steps. And
He's like,
it's
Helen.
implied that he dies, in peace with his wounds. And previously there was this thing. It's like, what do you want on your gravestone? The king is like, hail to the king, or whatever he said. King this.
Long live the king.
Long live the king. And then the other guy's like, friend. And then John is like, loving husband. I want a loving husband. And I'm like, oh shit, does that mean he's gonna die in this film? Well, they show a scene of him kind of lying down. Now they don't show the body.
Rule number
Rule
one.
number one.
There's also another piece of evidence,
They
though.
don't show the body. And what's the other piece of evidence?
Well, before as he's dying on the steps, he looks at Winston. And he's like, "Winston, I need you. I need you to take me home."
Take me home. Now, I like dual meanings. So this could mean I'm going to die, but you're going to take my body home and bury me near the wife.
Yeah.
Because that's the next scene. You see his gravestone, loving husband, next to his wife's gravestone, and it is. And then actually they even say, where do you think he is? And I think that you can imply heaven or hell.
He does.
This is when I needed to run and go to the bathroom. So it's heaven or hell, but I think he's still alive. In my opinion...
He just says, who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
In my opinion, Winston helped him. Also, John Wick was like, Caine, you owe me one. And Caine's like, yeah, you're right, I do. Because he kind of, helped him out. So...
and that's the end of
It just
that.
depends
That's
on-
kind of the end of that.
I think the studio will just decide if John Wick's alive or dead, and they left it open where he could be
Depending on
one.
how
They're
much
like,
money they make.
yeah, it's like and how much Keanu wants to do because every time he does these things, it's got to take a toll on him.
How are you going to get him back in?
Yeah, well,
Like, well,
No, so
that was
it'll
the
that's why I
other-
gave this a 10, Joe, because it's never going to fucking top this. Whatever contrived reason they bring him back, it's never going to have the same impact. This was it. He's out. There's really no reason that he would go to that lengths. He's got nothing left in life.
Exactly.
He gave it his all, and then he died peacefully, loving husband. So it works if he dies. It works if he's secretly alive and they want to do a cameo. But I think, it's almost like a Cowboy Bebop situation, right? Where, okay, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but anyway, you know what I mean.
We saw the series.
So you saw, we
stop
reviewed
it.
the series.
Fucking stop it.
This is the way he lived. And even the villain at one point is like, John, what after? I mean, let's say if you win or whatever, you're Baba Yaga. There's no peaceful life for you
You're
afterwards.
not a husband. You're not anything. You're a killer.
Anything. You're a killer. So it
Hey,
could
they
end here.
They did it with Rambo. I'm saying that there's
Yes.
always an opportunity
There's
where he
always
lives
an-
peacefully on a farm, and
That's
then
why
his
they don't
neighbor's
show.
daughter gets kidnapped by the drug cartel, and he's got to go into Mexico. Exactly like fucking Rambo. Like there's
When
ways
he's
where
70 years old.
where you get pulled out and then you get sucked back in for one last ride, and then like there's ways.
2 days away from retirement.
If the studio wants him
Carmen
back,
comes back.
yeah, there are
Carmen-
ways to do it.
Anyway, so after Winston is reinstated as the manager, he and the Bowery King attend John's funeral, having buried him next to his late wife, Helen. Sometimes, and then you have to wait till after the credits. There is a small after credit scene. No, it doesn't show John. It shows Akira approaching Caine, who's happy, going towards his daughter. He's like, I made it. And then she pulls a knife, and I'm like, a knife? Motherfucker, you're going to need more than a knife on this guy.
But he's blind.
Which Caine should have reacted to because he would have heard.
No, he did react. You could see his smile turn to shit. So, but they don't show the fight. So I don't know if they're planning on doing a spin-off with Akira. I wouldn't really care as much as I care about this, obviously. Donnie Yen, I'd watch it if Donnie Yen's in it, but I wouldn't care as much. So, I mean, this works as a conclusion. It also works as maybe there's more. But as I said, I wanted it to end in 3. So now that they definitely ended it and ended it in a satisfying way, in my opinion, we could be done with John Wick.
That's fine by me.
We'll see.
They've done kind of spin-off stuff before. Like Nobody was a great movie, and they've got Sisu looks like a great movie. So they've got a formula. And like none of these movies are winning Oscars for their story, but they're super fun and they're great to go see. So it's like if they want to continue to do stuff kind of in the same vein, but without John Wick, I think that's totally fine.
All right. So originally there was going to be a 5th film developed alongside 4. That was going to be back-to-back filmed, but in 2021, Lionsgate had to delay production, move forward with just Chapter 4, and Keanu Reeves stated that he will continue making sequels as long as the films are successful, so that's his personal opinion on it. Reeves and Ian McShane will reprise their respective roles, John Wick and Winston Scott, in a spin-off film coming up called Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas. She's super hot right now, ballerina assassin, so they're going to do that in the spin-off film. So maybe
Is that
make
who
an
that
appearance
was?
there. Now,
When he's watching the ballerina thing.
I didn't.
the John Wick producers and guys, the big John Wick guy said that Chapter 4 is the last one for a while. Quote, in our minds, Keanu and I are done for the moment. We're going to give John Wick a rest. I'm sure the studio has a plan. If everyone loves it and it goes kooky, then, we'll take a quiet minute.
It went kooky.
So even he's like, yeah, if this makes buku money, then I guess we won't take a while. We'll take a minute.
Of course.
Everybody's so plain about it. Well, I respect that.
That's what it is.
Honestly, I didn't think that they could do, better than the third. I thought it was going to go down from there. But to me, it ended in a very good way.
And again, like, I still liked it better than most films that we recently saw.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit too much, but I would rather see this again than the other ones.
Yeah. All right, well, it's a fucking hour and 5-minute review. We'll go ahead and split this one into 2 videos. Thank you guys so much. Well, I think we covered everything. Because it's so long, can you think of anything we missed? Lawrence Fishburne really
Wasted.
does nothing.
He's got a cool boat.
He's got a boat underground. That's about it. Oh, he says, I'm expanding. He gives him a new suit. I guess this new suit has even better bulletproof powers. Damn.
That's it.
Yeah, we got everything covered. I think the trailer did this fake out where the dog is like, smiling at John Wick or like they're friends, but that never happens in the film. Do you remember that in the trailer?
I
Something
thought
like that?
because the dog was attacking
I
other
thought that the
people,
dude was
so
going
I
to
thought it
die,
was
Mr.
somebody
Nobody,
else.
and the dog was going to follow around John Wick.
That's
but
what I thought,
that
too.
actually never happens. So, anyways. Maybe they'll do spin-offs. Well, obviously they're going to do Ballerina, but maybe they'll do the spin-off with Mr. Nobody or Akira. Between those 3 people, I just like the actress.
But like I was saying,
more.
whenever Bill Skarsgård was like in the theater, was that the Ballerina one maybe?
In the theater.
Because he's in there, he's in the
what
theater,
theater?
like he's just watching the Ballerina.
He's drinking Lafroig.
And he's the only one in the theater.
I just noticed the bottle.
That's what I was like, y'all were
that-
talking
he's-
about. I was like, maybe.
She's a ballerina assassin. I don't know if that
But
was
like
her. I didn't see.
part 3, they go heavily into the whole ballerina thing. It's part of the So I think that's just gonna be part of the house, especially if John Wick's just gonna be a side thing in it.
All right. Well, that's it for this. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show.